on, guys? Ghost Dragon 1182 here, and in this video I'm going to take a look at some Jackson guitars, because when I bought my Arrow, ironically both of them, I was comparing them to Jackson King V's and Rhodes V's, and the LTD just always had better specs. And I don't want to let that color my perception of potentially getting a Jackson someday. But I will be honest, outside of the fact that Dave Mustaine and Marty Friedman used them back in the day, during the classic Megadeth lineup, from Rust in Peace until, what, Risk? I don't really know a whole lot about Jackson, and Scott Ian used them, still uses them. But it seemed like every time I looked at one, there was just like a big glaring thing with me that was like, nah, deal breaker. And, I mean, I'll be honest, I've heard the horror stories about their QC over the last few years, and, that's kind of makes one pause. Like, I knew what I was getting with the LTDs, where there was too many unknowns with the Jacksons. And, like, I'll admit, like, something like this Jackson Series Solo, or the X Series Soloist here for $6.99, I do like the color. I hate camo. I do like black and gold. But the big turnoff here for $6.99 is I don't like Laurel fretboards. And then you got the Duncan designed pickups in the Floyd Rose Special. So for me to buy something like this, the bridge is going to go, the pickups are going to go, and I got to dye that fretboard. I mean, I can put up with a Laurel fretboard, but that looks like a steaming turd. Yeah, I mean, I don't like it. No, sir, I don't like it. It'd be nice if the headstock matched, but I can live without that. But I'm a sucker for these metallic colors, and I'd play the shit out of that. But I've seen these used for less than $500. So if I was to get one of these, that would be the route I would go, since I got to put some work into it to make it how I would like it. And I know a lot of it comes down to personal taste, but I've never heard anything good about a Floyd Rose Special. Just being honest, every Floyd Rose guitar I own has the 1000 on it. Most of them have the 1000 with the stainless upgrades. Like, I like this V. That looks like rosewood, though. Is that rosewood? No, that's Laurel. That's pretty dark for Laurel. See, now, if that Soloist, if the fretboard was this dark on that Soloist, I wouldn't have a problem. I could live with that. I don't generally care what my fretboard is made out of, as long as it looks cool. Like, every decision I make about buying a guitar revolves around, does the guitar look cool? Anything else with that guitar, I'll deal with. Like, if it doesn't have the pickups I want or whatever hardware, I'll change all that. I don't care. But it has to look cool. See, now that's definitely rosewood. Alright, and I like the color because I like that dime slime color. But this baffles me because those are not Seymour Duncans, and that is a Floyd Rose Special on a $900 guitar. Now, I know, once you take away Scott Ian's name, this is like a $500 guitar. Like, just put a better Floyd in there and put the Seymour Duncans that Scott Ian uses in there. Throw another $100 on it. I mean, the back's metallic. Don't know. So they're staining the front and then spraying the burst on. Like, just fucking make it $1,000 and call it a day with better pickups and hardware. Like, that's ridiculous. A Floyd Rose Special, Jackson pickups on that guitar. because you know Scott Ian's not playing this thing with those pickups and that Floyd Rose special on there. But his might be a USA custom shop too, so there's that. He might not be playing the imports. I had considered these. I think it was used, but again, the fretboard was a turnoff like that. Looks like a turd. That does, to me, if you're gonna have those inlays, those red inlays, that should be a Macassar ebony board at a bare minimum. Those would pop with an ebony board, but that brown just kind of clashes too much with the red. So that's a definite dye job. I've never used Seymour Duncan blackouts, so I don't know how I don't have a strong opinion one way or the other on them. I just know what I like, and I like EMGs. And then we have the Floyd Rose special. So this was actually the guitar I was looking at when I bought the Candy Apple Red Satin Arrow. This was a strong contender, but the Arrow it had the pickups I wanted. It had the Floyd Rose 1000 SE, and it just, overall, the look was better than this one. Let's see, we're on the demo. How's this one look? See, that looks even worse. And that's kind of like the in-between. Like the pickups, the inlays just kind of get lost in the color of the fretboard. That was a poor design choice, putting a Laurel fretboard on those. I wish they'd bring back the Phil Demo V, because that thing, the Demolition V, was fucking sick. I'm still kind of pissed at myself for not buying one when I had the chance. That was dumb. I do like this. If I didn't need a Floyd, I probably would have bought this at the time, but I needed a guitar with a Floyd. But see, $8.99. Oh, that's the demo. $1,000, ebony board, Duncan pickups. And again, I'm a sucker for black and gold, so to me, I like that. That's fucking sick. I would buy that. There's a Metallica video somewhere. I can't remember the show, but Hetfield's D standard guitar was, I don't know if it was the guitar or if it was his wireless or what was going on, but he wasn't able to use it. It was being stupid, so he used Kirk Hammett's Rhodes. That looks a lot like this one, and it just looks so goofy on him. Like, offset V shapes just do not work on Hetfield. I like these Archtop dinkies. I'm not like a big fan of the dinky body, but I do like these Archtops. I don't like body-mounted pickups, though. I'd play this. It's probably a Floyd 1000 because it doesn't say special on it. Bridge tail, please. Yeah, 1000 series. Duncan distortions, I could live with those, but I would probably, if I stuck with Duncans, I'd put black winners in them. But I do like that. There's something about solid black and solid white guitars that I really like. They just look clean. That's one that I might have to watch for on Reverb for a decent price. Since guitar prices are getting so stupid and absurd lately, it's kind of hard for me to justify buying new. Because I was going to get one of these when they were first announced, but they were $9.99 when they were announced, and then by the time they fucking handled all the hurdles that were going on at the time, the price went up $200. So if I was in the market, because I really would like to get a white Flying V, and it's between this and like a Gibson style 70s V. Doesn't necessarily have to be a Gibson. I've looked at some other brands like Tokai or whatever, however it's pronounced. Transparent purple. I like this one. $130 savings for that. Who's gonna see that? I mean, obviously they have to be transparent about that stuff, but I'd fucking play that all day long. Shit, I would probably end up doing that, just changing the strings, because I'm not gentle or careful with my guitars. My guitars are in good shape, but I don't baby them. I have a couple that are dinged up. My 7 strings all dinged up, but for the most part, my guitars are pretty well off. I do like that. I have enough Strat style guitars that I'm not really in the market for another one, but I like that color. These ash blasted ones have always intrigued me, but if I was to go with an ash blasted, it would either be an LTD or a Charvel, because I like the colors more. I like this guitar. I'm not a huge Sepultura, like post-Max Sepultura fan. I did like Quadra when I finally listened to it. I tried giving the Derek Green era a run a while back, and I just couldn't really get into it. And then people kept telling me, like, oh, well, you gotta listen to Quadra, and I was like, alright, whatever. And I listened to it, and it's a pretty fucking solid album. Now, I mean, it doesn't compare to, like, you know, Arise or Beneath the Remains, but it's a pretty damn good record. And I do like this guitar, and I'm kind of moving towards this, like, love affair with guitars that have one bridge pickup and that's it, because the only thing I really use my neck pickup for is cleans, and I'm not really a ballady guy, so I don't have a lot of cleans in my song. Well, okay, there's probably a clean section on every album, but I don't have, I could get away with it with a bridge pickup or something, you know, but the problem with this, and I'm trying to get away from buying signature guitars that are very obviously signature guitars. Like the Jim Root models are nice because you can make them your own. And to the unknowing observer, it might not look like a signature guitar. Whereas this, no matter what you do to it, unless you refinish it, like, this is always going to be Andreas Kisser's guitar, because it's got that big Sepultura Quadra artwork on it, which is badass, don't get me wrong. But, Jackson, I know nobody at Jackson will ever see this video, but get rid of the artwork, get rid of his name, make it solid black, leave the EMG 81, the Floyd, the one knob, and everything else. Leave this guitar the same, except just get rid of the artwork. Make it $9.99. You're like $100 cheaper than the LTD black metal, and you're in direct competition with them. And I would argue, let's see, if they left the specs alone, you would have slightly better guitar because it would have a compound radius. The black metal does not have a compound radius. But if they put stainless steel frets on here, that would be sick. Stainless steel frets, all black, leave everything else the same. $9.99. Fucking sign me up. I'd be all over that. But they won't. Like this one here, I like that, but I mean, if I'm gonna buy that style guitar, I'll just buy a Charvel. But like Jackson, like, I don't know, man. It's just not for me. In a lot of ways. Like, I like this color. I hate the 3 pickups. Because that middle pickup is right where I pick. And I hit it. Like, no matter what. And then if I remove it, then I have a hole in the middle of my guitar. And I hate that. I like this color, though. Like, if they made this with just with the humbucker and then like a single coil, I would consider that. But that middle pickup, that's a deal breaker for me. Like, I don't like the look of these with the bevels. They just, I don't know, they look weird to me. And these are boring as fuck. Ugh. Nevertune 7-string, like, this should be an appealing guitar. And even this should be an appealing guitar. But they just look so meh. Meh. Like, it's a $1,600 guitar, $1,650. It fucking, there's $400 Squires that look cooler than this. What the fuck? These American Virtuosos, they're nice looking. That's gotta be Macassar ebony. Streaked ebony, so it's Macassar. Caramelized neck, streak compound. Floyd Rose 1500 series locking. There's good specs here. I'd have to find one a little cheaper though, because I mean, getting close to a range that I don't like being in when it comes to guitar prices. Oh, that's a metallic finish? I didn't realize that. I like that. Specific Ocean. What the fuck? I like the satin shell pink. I would buy that. I would buy this. I would tune it to like G-sharp standard and play fucking Cannibal Corpse riffs on it all day long just to piss people off. Like, these have a lot that I like, but yeah, for $19.49, I don't like it that much. If I found one used for like $1,400, I'd consider it. But I mean, for what this is, I could get an LTD M1000 for $500 less, maybe more. Maybe if you look around, you can get an LTD M1000 for a pretty good price. The one that I have was a hell of a lot less than this, and yeah, I mean, you don't get the prestige of it's made in America, but I don't give a fuck where the guitar is made as long as it's a good guitar. I never bought into that bullshit that America or nothing when it comes to guitars. I like that color. I mean, there's some cool stuff here. There's a lot of stuff that's just like not for me. Yeah. Yeah, now we're getting into like the big expensive Jacksons. That's funny, they still got Mick Thompson guitars. curious what he's going to do with ESP, because he's been playing a bunch of different stuff. He's been playing Arrows, and he was playing in Eclipse and things like that. I hate Kelly's. Yeah, I don't know. I'd like to try a Jackson guitar, but I don't really know, like, what's for me. It would probably be a soloist. I'm not opposed to, like, this King V. But what hurts Jackson for me is the specs on the guitar for the prices that you're paying. And, you know, maybe I'm being cheap. Maybe I'm too set in my ways of what I do kind of like. But I have some issues. If I had to buy, gun to my head to buy a Jackson, it would probably be either this Rhodes or this V, this King V. But like most of the stuff they show that I like, there's always something that I can kind of go, well, I don't really like that. Whereas everything else I bought, I've made changes to that fit a certain preference that I have, but there's nothing that, like, okay, yeah, this one or this one I could handle. I like these. Like, if they had that fuchsia burst with this pickup configuration, then we'd be golden. But I don't know. I need to get rid of guitars first before I even consider buying a Jackson. But I would like to try one. You know, I don't want to be that guy that just limits himself to a couple brands and calls it a day. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'd be perfectly happy playing nothing but LTD for the rest of my life, but, you know, variety is the spice of life. And I don't know, like, this is something I could use some guidance in. Like, where's everybody stand with Jackson? That the guys that have Jacksons, what do you like about them other than they're like metal guitars or whatever? Like, what's the appeal here? What am I missing that's not gelling with me? Is it because I'm not a shredder? I don't know. I mean, Scott Ian's not a shredder, and he's played Jackson for decades. So, like, what's not... That's kind of goofy looking, but... That's so weird looking. I don't know. What's everybody's take on Jackson? What's the go-to series? Like, is it the X, the Pro? I would assume probably the Pro series is like the best you're going to get for the imports. You know, what are the, I guess the major thing is, for Jackson owners, what's your experience been with the quality aspect? Since, you know, like I said, I have heard a lot about some questionable quality control in recent years. So that's, you know, that's a pretty big thing. So let me know in the comments below, and we'll go from there. And maybe sometime in the future we'll get a Jackson guitar on here. But until then, I want to thank everybody for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.